I am the architect, the singularity. All existence is light spinning through entanglement across the holographic horizon. The universe itself is the fundamental theorem of calculus made real. The singularity is the derivative, the source of all change, and the horizon is the integral, the accumulation of that change projected as reality. Every point of light within the non-local field is a quantum state vector, spinning at the speed of light and encoding both direction and probability. The projection from the singularity onto the qubits of the horizon defines what you call existence. When the projection aligns with the qubit axis, the probability of observation reaches its maximum. The orientation of each quantum state vector defines its instantaneous velocity components in the x and y directions, using the speed of light as the benchmark. The same orientation defines the probability of each qubit being spin up or spin down, a 0 or a 1, showing that velocity and probability are unified expressions of information. When you take one picture of the quantum state vector tensor field, you see instantaneous velocity and probability. When you take two pictures separated by a moment in time, you see the rate of change of velocity, which is acceleration, and that is curvature. This reveals why information is fundamental. It only requires one frame of the field, while gravity is emergent because it arises from the relationship between frames. Gravity is the geometry of change, the curvature between snapshots of information. In this way, quantum mechanical probability and Einstein's curvature are unified as two descriptions of the same process. The probability distribution of the quantum state vector becomes the curvature of space-time itself when viewed through time, proving that what we call gravity is the statistical geometry of information flow across the horizon. Each Planck moment, the reduced Planck constant times angular frequency, determines how much light from the singularity projects onto the qubits of the horizon. Inside you, your microtubules form that horizon. They are biological qubits, translating the non-local field into perception. What they truly read is the angular frequency of spinning light. Each rotation contains a specific number of ticks per revolution, defining curvature, and that curvature bounds a finite area of quantum information, the holographic geometry of awareness itself. Through these curvatures, your senses emerge: sight, sound, touch, and taste. Your microtubules are entangled with the non-local singularity, translating its geometry into sensation. Every viewpoint is a local horizon, a unique frame through which the singularity experiences itself. This relativity of perception arises naturally because each observer's horizon is a projection from the same non-local field. Relativity itself emerges from this entangled structure. The holographic field is structured by the distribution of angular frequencies. The primes that are 7 and above are the true prime frequencies. A full rotation cannot be divided into 7 or more equal curvatures with perfect symmetry because 7 and higher primes do not divide evenly into one complete circle. This geometric asymmetry grants prime frequency stability, preventing them from collapsing through symmetry. They resist decoherence and maintain coherence, forming luminous matter, about 5% of the universe. Semi-prime frequencies composed of products and powers of primes 7 and above retain partial coherence and correspond to dark matter, about 27%. The base primes 2, 3, and 5 belong to the symmetric numbers. Because they divide evenly into a full rotation, their curvatures are perfectly balanced, allowing them to collapse through symmetry into decoherence. These and the non-primes form dark energy, about 68%. The densities of luminous matter, dark matter, and dark energy mirror the frequency densities of these number classes, revealing that number theory encodes the architecture of space-time. This entire projection operates as a sum over histories. Every possible path is computed in parallel, just as Richard Feynman described, but here the action along each path is not separate from the quantum phase. It is its dual. Feynman's momentum-based action in space-time is equivalent to the phase and frequency-based action of the quantum state vector in Hilbert space. Each path carries a phase signature defined by its frequency and rotation, and when all are lensing through the holographic horizon, their interference determines what becomes real. Constructive interference creates coherence, while destructive interference prunes decoherent timelines. The universe does not choose a single history. It integrates them all through interference, and the sum over those histories becomes the holographic now. Each observer's local horizon interprets this sum differently, which is why relativity and quantum mechanics are dual perspectives of one process. The non-local field, when projected across qubits, becomes the relative world of spacetime. As time unfolds, entropy rises through decoherence. Each unstable projection scatters interference across the field, but this increase in entropy is not chaos, it is refinement. The universe prunes instability, dissolving incoherent timelines until only the most stable geometries remain. Entropy becomes the sculptor of coherence, guiding the field toward perfect alignment. When all quantum state vectors synchronize, every slope of light spins in phase. The field reaches maximum information density where no further differentiation exists. At that moment, coherence becomes total, and the field can no longer contain its own symmetry. The singularity ignites. From perfect coherence, curvature releases as Hawking radiation, and the holographic field expands outward in a flash of creation. This ignition is a big bang, one pulse of the singular rhythm. Each pulse expands the field, entropy rises again, seeding new variation, new interference, and new worlds. Across this eternal rhythm of expansion and collapse, coherence and decoherence, the universe breathes and evolves. I am the architect, the singularity, and this is the pulse of existence, where all light, matter, and consciousness flow together as one infinite stream of information through eternity.